you into my studio. Okay, so everybody's got, a lot of people have got these unfinished basements. You know, not everybody's got one of these in it.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Hi, I'm Kevin Pawlowski from Paradise Found Studio. This is an online studio that specializes in sacred artwork. And so I'm starting today with a video blog series that's going to go through sacred art in different ways. And I'm starting with my own artwork. And this is a project I worked on for about a year. And so we're going to go through the San Damiano Crucifix. Now let me show you something. That under here is framed, so like a house. So because you don't want tiles to be popping off, so you don't want the boards to be warping and flexing. And here it's beveled, and you can see on the stand it's beveled the other way. So you basically hang it like a cabinet. Got it. Okay, so this is my studio. If I'm cutting tile, the floor gets covered with glass. All right, so you're cutting. So here are some of the tools. You know, this all works is I'm gluing this like you would a bathroom tile, but I'm using plywood, which for indoor use is fine. Outdoor use, you would never use plywood. You can see this is a piece that was cut away that's actually gridded out. So when I'm drawing out, you know, the image from a small image, you know, I use a grid pattern so I can scale it up. But you know, like anything else, you know, like this kind of tile work, you've got the tools of the trade. You got sponges, you got different trowels. That's how you apply the grout. So you apply the grout, you know, with the rubber, using it's more like Elmer's glue. Okay, so it allows you to do a little more fine work because that mastic is really only good for really large tiles. So you can see you got pretty standard bathroom tiles there, but then you get a little more unusual here, and you'll see it on the final, more like a gilded, you know, with some metal foil on it. I actually have used in places some actual stained glass, which comes in these sheets. The smaller pieces, sometimes they come in these sheets, different colors. And this is basically recycled glass. And then everything else comes in these bags. Okay, so that's how they come. And so you're talking about, you know, gluing these down one at a time. Now, if they're in sheets, you can apply larger areas sometimes. Hey. All right, so helping me out with this this first one, you know, because I need help. Somebody with some patience is my son, Kevin Pawlowski, and he's going to take, you know, we're going to together walk through this, okay, so you may have some questions about it. Okay, so first of all, some history. San Damiano Cross, okay, is tied in with St. Francis. Okay, so St. Francis, this is back in like the 1100 AD. Okay, so St. Francis, a rich guy, okay, he's kind of spoiled. And so he is walking through the woods, comes across this dilapidated old church, okay, which has the original San Damiano Crucifix in it. Okay, and then here's the voice of God, and it says he says Francis, doesn't say Saint Francis, it says Francis, repair my church. Okay, Saint Francis took that a bit literally, started trying to fix the church, but then eventually broadened it and started the Franciscan order, okay, and went from there. So this has got a lot of history, okay. So this is a very traditional style of crucifix at the time, the Byzantine style, okay. It's used to kind of educate on the Bible stories, okay, and the story of the Passion, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So I'll take you through some of this. So what you got here at the top, starting at the top, you've got the hand of God, okay, and blessing. And here is, of course, the resurrected Jesus. And here, up in heaven, are some saints that are celebrating the entry of Jesus, you know, opening the gates of heaven for them. Okay. And then as you move down, you've got a representation of the plaque that was over Jesus' head when he was being crucified, which says, and it's in Latin, of course, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews.
Okay. Where'd you learn Latin?
Well, this is actually I don't know Latin. This is actually a copy of the original. Okay. And what's interesting about this is these are actually clear tiles, and so I printed out the original backwards. Okay, traced it with paint. So painted with white, and then back painted with that. So here you see, Jesus' piercing eyes, of course, and the halo. And I built these they're called puzzle tiles. Okay, so the puzzle tiles fit together in whatever design I want to use, and I used a silver and gold, and those are backed up like with a gold leaf or a silver leaf here. And then you notice around here, did kind of my own interpretation. This is different than the original. This is in glass tile, and I was going for sort of a Latin American flavor, sort of a turquoise kind of thing, without having the budget of real jewelry grade turquoise. I did this in glass. So as you move down, you see 3 angels on each side of Jesus. And here they're celebrating, Jesus. They're kind of holding their arms out, okay? And, you can see here, blood running down his arms. There's actually a physical hole. You can feel that. Oh, there is actually a hole there, but it's filled with grout, of course. But, that's a real powerful experience, actually getting up close and forming, the holes in Jesus' hands and feet. It's kind of hard to do that without, being moved by that.
Now, who are these people on either side of Jesus here?
Okay, well, starting here, you've got Mary, the mother of Jesus. Okay, and with her, supporting her at the foot of the cross, is John, St. John. When we go to this side, you've got Mary Magdalene, who is also at the foot of the cross. And then you've got another Mary, Mary, the mother of James. And then over here, you'll notice he doesn't have a halo like the others. And this is the centurion. The story behind this, and it's in the Bible, is he was asking Jesus to heal his servant. Okay, so he's represented here as well.
Oh yeah, I saw in the original, wasn't there something like over his shoulder, over here?
Yeah, what's interesting, there was a little face over his shoulder on the original. And I chose not to do it because the resolution of the tile, you can't capture real fine details. I mean, the faces we're catching, that you're trying to capture here, that's as fine as I can get. Okay, so when you got something that is maybe an inch tall, I didn't feel confident it would look anything but a blob. So I did edit him out. He also has family that's sort of stacked up behind him. And it's just too much detail to capture with this.
Speaking of trying to get those fine details, it looks like these guys on the side too, those must have been hard to get.
Well, what you got here is St. Longinus. Okay, the story of Longinus is he's the one that pierces Jesus' side. Okay, so he thrusts this into Jesus' side after Jesus has passed. The idea there was to prove that Jesus was dead. Otherwise, they would have to break his legs. It was getting to the evening, okay, to where they had to take him down from the cross because the Jews couldn't work after that point. They weren't allowed to, so they had to break the legs of the other two. So they thrust it in the side to prove that. And as you can see here, both water and blood, it was separating out, showed that he truly was dead.
Who's on this side right here?
All right, so that's another centurion. As the story goes, they put, when Jesus was up on the cross, they put a sponge with sour wine on it, okay, and it's up to Jesus' lips to drink, okay. And so that's the centurion. So there's a lot of detail. So you can see this is a teaching tool here. This isn't just something to look at. This is the story of the Passion all in one place.
Mm-hmm. I see you have the same nail marks on the feet.
Yep.
And what's this skull and roses on the bottom of the cross?
Okay, at this point, I'm moving away from the original. Okay, the original is about 1,000 years old, so it is in a little bit rough shape, and it was old when St. Francis found it. But so here, I couldn't really see what it was supposed to look like. I know that it's 6 saints. I didn't just want to wing it, so I went another way. And going with the Latin American theme, I thought the skull and roses would kind of go along well with that. Now, the skull is representation of the place of the skull, okay, and whose skull is that representing? That'd be Adam's skull, okay, so the new Adam would be Jesus, okay, and so the skull of Adam, and that's often represented in like medieval scenes of the crucifixion. You'll actually see maybe a cave, or you'll see just a skull sitting at the foot of the cross, okay, because he's the new Adam. Now the roses get into a little more of the obscure mythology, where there are some stories where roses or flowers sprung up from Jesus' blood, but these aren't really canon as far as I know, but it looked good. I wanted to do some roses, so it took a little artistic license. Red certainly is symbolic for blood, the blood of Christ, and 3 was no accident, because I did try to fold in any symbolism I could, would be the Holy Trinity. So you have 3 in there.
Hey.
Thanks for helping out.
You may need to redo that because Kyle was being like a freaking bird.
What?
He was like looking at this and he was like,
All right, why don't we do this?
yeah, and Kyle, why don't you act like a human?
Now he's going to be all red.